Adam Rittenberg, our ESPN college sports reporter, joins us now here on SportsCenter. And Adam, clearly a disappointing situation for VCU with these multiple positive tests over the last 48 hours. But help me understand this part, though. We just saw the protocols that the NCAA laid out in terms of if teams were to test positive, they could still stay in the tournament. And according to VCU, they did have enough players to meet that 5-player protocol in order to be able to play. So why were they not allowed to?
Yeah, Michael, it came down to contact tracing, and ultimately the public health department here in Marion County, Indiana, along with the NCAA, felt that because of the multiple positive tests in a short period of time, it would not be safe for VCU to continue to play, even though those players had tested negative. They could have passed it along to another team. They could have passed it along to multiple people in this region. And as head coach Mike Rhodes said, even though he was disappointed, obviously, with the decision, when you have that cluster in a short period of time, you can't be too careful. He does not question the medical experts on this. And it basically became a waiting game throughout the day, VCU said, answering some questions. They knew they had some positive tests, but they were waiting on a decision. That decision came down around 6:30 tonight. The game against Oregon, set to be played behind me here at the Farmers Coliseum, would be declared a no contest, and unfortunately ending VCU's season.
Yeah, abundance of caution is a term we've been using a lot over the last year or so, and clearly it was in play in this situation. But here's the deal also, Adam. Teams have been dealing with coronavirus and the threat of it the entire season. I wonder now that they are in Indianapolis, or at least on the way there to compete for this national championship, how teams have continued to deal with it, or has it been a different approach based on the fact they're in Indiana?
Well, Michael, they're obviously all in quarantine and lockdown as much as possible, but the anxiety is still very much there. I mean, VCU said that they did everything right. They had multiple negative tests. They felt good about their chances until this cluster of positive cases. Kansas coach Bill Self, who played in this building behind me, had a player come out of COVID protocol. David McCormack led the team in scoring in their victory over Eastern Washington. Self said afterward that the anxiety he feels every night, every day when you're getting these tests back, he waits up until 2 in the morning for the text from the athletic trainer to say, you guys are clear for this day. So it is a constant anxiety, even though they're in the bubble here in Indianapolis. And that'll be the case for every team as long as they're here. They want to be here, but they're going to have to deal with the nerves of finding out those tests on a daily basis.
And for those of us who have been tested for the coronavirus, we can relate to that feeling of anxiety until you get that result to say that you are negative. There's a lot of doubt in your mind, especially for these young kids trying to compete for a championship. You got to wonder what that feels like as well. Adam Rittenberg there in Indiana. Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, Seth Greenberg joins us now. We'll get to Virginia in just a moment, but first I want to get your reaction from a coach's perspective on this story. The biggest story of the day in the tournament, VCU is out due to COVID protocols.
It breaks my heart. I just got on the phone with Mike Rhodes, and they have not had a positive test in their program since the beginning of October. From the point they started practice to today, they've had 2 coaches prior to that, and now they've had 1 positive test. They run such a high-level program. Those kids have made so many sacrifices throughout the course of the season. He's got an incredible group of young men. It just breaks my heart that, success is a journey, not a destination. They've gotten to that destination, and then because of the virus, because the virus is undefeated, the virus controls us, we don't control the virus, they lose the opportunity to have a lifelong memory. And he said, in the hallway as he was talking to the team, tears, and it was just really, really emotional. But he did say it was the right decision for the NCAA to do, because in this situation, he didn't want to hinder anyone else or have a chance of anyone else getting sick because of someone in their travel party.
Again, you talk about them doing all the right things. You got to feel for the players, the coaching staff, the entire squad. What about on the flip side, Oregon? Because, they are going through, but how do they stay sharp not playing?
Yeah, not playing. So what they'd open, I would expect, during that playing time period, they got a lift, they got a workout, they probably got shots up, went through special situations, and then did a little bit of what I call ODO, offensive, defensive, offense, just to get the guys stretched out and loosened up, kind of raise their temperature, get their blood flowing to get them ready for their next game. Because it's been a long period of time since they lost their game in the Pac-12 conference tournament. So I think he probably kind of got them stretched out and got them going. And, you prepare for a game. You're ready to play. It's game day. You're raising your kids' temperature. They're excited about playing their first game in the NCAA tournament. I equate it to when you're in a conference tournament and there's so many games played before you, and you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting. You're watching these games. You're almost living those games as you're watching other people play. Those kids are ready to play. So I'm sure he did something to raise their temperature.
Well, just getting a comment on Virginia here. Their first game after dealing with COVID issues. What went wrong for the national champions?
7 days without practice. It's real. Allen Iverson said practice. Well, they need practice. And then you think about it, they were in quarantine for 7 days. They flew to Indianapolis. All right. They tested twice and they went and played a game. And you've got to give Ohio University credit because, Ohio University is a really good basketball program. And Jason Preston is the best player on the floor. He's an NBA first-round draft choice, 6'4" guard, shoots 50 from the three. You saw his line today, 11 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. He controls the tempo of the game. They have 5 guys that average double figures. But, to me, it was amazing how Virginia played as well as they played, considering what they've been through in the last 7 days. It's kind of a testament to the leadership of Tony Bennett. But the reality is you can't go 7 days without practice and go and play a game.
And credit to the Bobcats, too, who were fantastic down the stretch.
They were phenomenal.
Really good in the MAC tournament. So congratulations to them. They move on. They play Creighton. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.